government in British India. In secret they hold out hopes to the common people of the coming of bloody days, of a bloody Mahdi and a bloody Messiah, and instruct them accordingly, but when they go to the authorities they flatter them and assure them that they do not approve of such ideas. If, however, they are really opposed to such ideas, why do they not propagate this in writing? And why should they await the coming of that bloody Mahdi and the Messiah, standing, as it were, at the doorsteps, ready to join them in their campaign? Such beliefs, in short, have very much demoralized these Maulvis. They are incapable of teaching people decency and peace. On the other hand, killing others without rhyme or reason is, with them, a great religious duty. I would be glad if any sect of the Al-Hadith is opposed to these beliefs, but I cannot help observing with regret that among the sects of the Al-Hadith there are those who in secret believe in a bloody Mahdi and in the popular notions of jihad. Footnote: some of the Al-Hadith impertinently and unjustly state in their books that the appearance of the Mahdi is imminent, that he will put into prison the British rulers of India, and that the Christian king will be arrested and will be brought before him. Such books are still to be found in the houses of those Al-Hadith, one such being Ikhtarab us-Saat by a well-known Al-Hadith, on page 64 of which such an account is to be found. Main text again. They are opposed to correct notions, and they think it an act of great merit to kill when they have the opportunity to kill all the people professing other faiths, whereas the beliefs in killing others in the name of Islam or believing in prophecies like the prophecy of a bloody Messiah and wishing to advance the cause of Islam by bloodshed or by threats are absolutely against the Holy Koran and the reliable Hadith. Our Holy Prophet, peace and the blessings of God be upon him, suffered great persecution at the hands of the Kafirs at Mecca and thereafter. The 13 years which he spent at Mecca were years of great affliction and suffering of many kinds. A thought of them brings tears to one's eyes. But he did not raise the sword against his enemies, nor did he reply to their abuse, until many of his companions and dear friends were mercilessly murdered, and until he himself was subjected to sufferings of various kinds, such as being poisoned many a time, and until many an unsuccessful plan to murder him had been laid. When, however, God's vengeance came, it so happened that the elders of Mecca and the chiefs of the tribes unanimously decided that this man should in any case be put to death. At that time, God, who is the supporter of his loved ones and of the truthful and righteous, informed him that there was now nothing left in that town except evil, that the townspeople were bent upon murdering him, and that he should therefore quit at once. Then it was that, in accordance with the divine command, he migrated to Medina, but even then his enemies did not leave him alone. They pursued him there and tried to destroy Islam in all possible ways. When their excesses went to an extreme, and when they had rendered themselves deserving of punishment by the murder of many an innocent person, permission to fight with them in self-defense, to fight with a view to warding off their attack, was given, and those people and their helpers had rendered themselves deserving of such treatment because of their having killed many an innocent person, whom they had murdered not in any fight or battle, but simply out of wanton mischief, and whom they had robbed of their property. But in spite of all this, when Mecca was taken, our holy prophet, peace and the blessings of God be upon him, pardoned them all. It is therefore utterly wrong and unjust to suppose that the holy prophet, peace and the blessings of God be upon him, or his companions ever fought for spreading the faith, or that they ever coerced anyone to join the fold of Islam. It is worth noting also that, as at that time all the people were prejudiced against Islam, and as the opposing people were scheming to destroy Islam, which they thought was a new religion, and the followers of which were only a small community, and as everyone was anxious to see the Muslims destroyed early or disrupted so as not to leave any chance of their further growth and development, the Muslims at that time were obstructed in the smallest matters, and anyone from any tribe who accepted Islam and became a Muslim was either killed at once by his tribe or lived in perpetual danger. At a time like this, Almighty God, taking pity on Muslim converts, had imposed on the bigoted rulers a penalty, namely that they should become subservient to Islam and thus open the door of freedom for Islam. This was meant to remove the obstructions in the way of those who wished to accept the faith. It was God's compassion for the world, and it harmed no one. It is evidence, however, that non-Muslim rulers of today do not interfere with Islam. They do not ban the essential Islamic practices. They do not kill new Muslims. They do not put them into prison or torture them. Why then should Islam raise its sword against them? It is obvious that Islam has never advocated compulsion. If the Holy Koran, the books of Hadith, and historical records are carefully examined, and as far as possible studied or listened to thoughtfully, it will be realized with certainty that the charge that Islam wielded the sword to propagate the faith with force is an utterly unfounded and shameful charge against Islam. Such a charge against Islam is made by people who have not read the Koran, the Hadith, and the reliable histories of Islam in a spirit of detachment, but have made free use of falsehood and have brought wrong charges against it. I know, however, that the time is near when those who are hungry and thirsty for truth will be enlightened as to what reality there is in these charges. Can we ever describe that faith as a faith of compulsion when the Holy Book, the Koran, clearly directs that there is no compulsion in religion, that it is not permissible to use compulsion in religion, that it is not permissible to use compulsion or force in getting anyone to join Islam? Can we accuse that great prophet of using force against others who, day and night for 13 years, exhorted all his companions in Mecca not to return evil for the evil of the enemy, but to forbear and forgive? When, however, the mischief of the enemy went to extremes, and when everybody started exerting himself for wiping out Islam, the jealous God thought it fit that the people who had wielded the sword should be annihilated by the sword. Except for this, the Holy Koran has not approved of compulsion. If compulsion had been approved of by Islam, the companions of our Holy Prophet, peace and the blessings of God be upon him, in moments of trial would not have behaved like people of sincere and genuine faith. Yet the loyalty and faithfulness of the companions of our Master, the Holy Prophet, peace be on him, is a matter which I hardly need to mention. It is no secret that among them are examples of loyalty and steadfastness, the parallel of which it is difficult to find in the annals of other nations. This band of the faithful did not waver in their loyalty and steadfastness, even under the shadow of the sword. On the other hand, in the company of their great and holy prophet, they gave proof of that steadfastness which no man is ever able to give unless his heart and his bosom are lit up with the light of true faith. There is, in short, no compulsion in Islam. Wars in Islam fall under 3 categories. 1. Defensive wars, that is, war by way of self-protection. 2. Punitive wars, that is, blood for blood. 3. War to secure freedom, that is, with a view to break the power of those who kill those who accept Islam. Therefore, when there is no direction in Islam that anyone should be made to join it by compulsion or by the threat to kill, it is absolutely absurd to await the appearance of any bloody Mahdi or a bloody Messiah. It can never be that there should appear in this world, against the Quranic teachings, a man who would use the sword to make people Muslims. This is not at all so very difficult to realize, or above one's understanding. Only foolish people have been led to this belief by their selfishness. For most of our Maulvis labor under the misconception that the wars waged by the Mahdi will bring a large amount of wealth to them, so much so that they will be unable to hold it. And as most of the Maulvis today are very poor, they await day and night the appearance of a Mahdi, who they think will provide for their selfish desires. Therefore these people turn against him who does not believe in the appearance of such a Mahdi. Such a one is at once declared a kafir and outside the pale of Islam. I too, therefore, am a kafir in the eyes of these people, and on these very grounds, for I do not believe in the appearance of a bloody Mahdi and a bloody Messiah. Nay, I hate